Hi there, welcome back. We're in the middle of our virtual training and I'm offering you the second workshop for part of the Quantum Play virtual experience. And I just wanted to thank you for showing up again for this workshop experience and for dropping in with us. It's a real honor for me to share these teachings with you. And I'm going to start by just going over what we've been working on this weekend, having you jump in. And today is all about having a joyful experience, a love fest with the body. I call it radical self-care, when we allow ourselves to just drop in and be really present with where we are in the body, in the breath, and then giving you more of a quantum experience where you're getting in tune and in touch with the energy body. You're allowing yourself to find a long spine. We're going to connect to opening up these three spheres. I call them the hubs of the body, these three major energy centers. And more importantly, we're just going to have as much fun as possible exploring and experiencing the swing in a new way. So we're going to go over some poses that you've probably seen before. And with this practice, we're taking it to another level where we can start to feel the energy around us, start to feel the energy that pulses through us. Well, without this life force energy, the body would just be a pile of bones on the floor. So we're getting in tune and in touch with the life force that animates and emanates through our physical being. And so with that, we're going to focus on the alignment principles again. So this is the physical alignment, the body alignment, but also the mind, body, spirit alignment. And getting in tune with how we're approaching the swing, how we're approaching our bodies, changes our experience of it. So just keep that in mind. If something feels challenging or difficult, just be easy about it. This is all about a slow flow. And as we wrap up the weekend, I wanted to offer a really yummy, delicious, restorative practice that you can do anytime. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to incorporate a lot of the sacred geometrics into the practice, more so than I have ever done before, which is a lovely challenge for me to take my own practice to a next level and show you how I use the swing. But I'm also encouraging you to get more in touch with this spherical nature of our body. That's why I love using these round mats to define the space. And get in touch with our body field, our bubble that's around us. So we're going to work on pillar of light, body of light, and then tune in during our meditations to the family of light. Today is all about the breath. So let's go ahead and get present. I'm going to start by centering myself in the center of the mat, right? So this apex of vertical alignment is the key to opening up the energy flow along the spine. And what we're really wanting to accomplish is just to relieve the excess tension or surface charge on the body. So we're going to continue to focus on the fascia and the lymph, turning on the endocrine system and releasing the nervous system by building more circulation in the body. We're going to take some of our most basic poses and dive deep into them so you can really start to feel in the body. So we're going to release the habit of doing and overdoing and just get in touch with our being. So enjoy that, especially since I'm launching this on Valentine's Day. So I do want to encourage us to have this beautiful self-love experience of playing in the swing and enjoying what it's like to open up and release the excess tension that's living in the body. So I like to call the swing a vehicle for transformation. And after doing a round of sequencing and poses, we'll drop into a nice long meditation. And the way that we do meditation, our Shavasana, is in the swing. So we're actually going to start in our cocoon. So if you ever feel like you need a break or you're just ready to rest, you can come back to this pose and join us and jump back in. So the swing spreads out, everything spreads out, both the leg loops and the main swing. I'm going to bring this down one notch lower than I normally practice for some of the restorative poses, and I encourage you to bring it down a little bit. Both the leg loops and the swing itself, they all can be raised or lowered with the daisy chains. And we're going to hop in. It's very rare that we start in cocoon, but it is such a wonderful experience, and we're going to do all of our leg stretches from here. So I grab a big handful, And then I'm gonna get the swing behind me and stretch it so I can hop in. Stretch it to the knees. So once it's at the knees, then I can lean back. So when I lean back, I make sure that it's supporting my head. I'm sure many of you have done this before, but if you're new to the practice, I want to give you step-by-step instructions. And to do our leg stretches, we're gonna use just the swing, no leg loops for now, and stretch your legs to the sky if you can, hooking the heels inside the swing. So this is called Viparita, or legs up the wall pose in yoga. So our legs are in a V, and then we're gonna simply let our arms expand over our head. Find your breath. Feel the tailbone and the crown of the head, centering yourself in the heart. And then just start to wiggle your hips from side to side. We're doing a lot of spirals and twists, adding more twists and spins into the poses than we normally do, so we can feel into the sacred geometrics of the body. I'm going to introduce some new language, and I'll include a Google folder with pictures and explanations and a deeper experience of what it is to tap into the quantum field. Bend your elbows and let your fingertips hang. Make sure the shoulders are comfortable. Just take a few breaths to wiggle around and fully show up. Put down your day. We're inviting more presence, more capacity to be with the body right now. Try undulating the spine, rolling the energy from the tailbone up to the crown of the head and back down again. And just enjoy this feeling of floating. Even here, we can stay really, really grounded, even while we're floating. So imagining from your tailbone to the very center of the earth, you have a grounding cord. And then from the crown of the head all the way up to the sky, we're always lifting and getting that sense of upliftment up towards the heavens. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and bend our knees, wrap our arms around our shins, and just give ourselves a big hug. Any of the leg stretches that you do on the floor normally, you can incorporate into the swing with a little imagination. And then straighten the legs towards the sky, hold on to the back of the calves, and come into a mini plow pose. So stretch the back body, knees are towards your chest, bowing in towards your shins. Keep holding on to the left and extend the right. This is usually how we end practice, but I'm going to do it at the beginning so you can see it's okay to just get into cocoon and roll around and have a sweet restorative practice from here. So if the pressure on the body, if the swing bunched up underneath the arms is too much for you, know that there are lots of variations we can do, and we're going to give you a nice sample size of all the different poses for you to explore. And I really encourage you to stimulate your creativity and try something new, something you haven't done before. You can always hook the heel on the opposite side to get an IT band stretch. You can come into pigeon pose. We're not going to do as many poses for restorative practice. We're going to get into the poses a little bit deeper, encouraging relaxation and breathing into some of those tight parts. Something feels sticky or blocked. Just sit with it, roll around with it until it opens. Send a healing balm and a wave of extra energy to all those pieces that are needing healing. Let's switch sides one more time. Scissoring the legs apart, hook the heel on the opposite side for the top leg, and let yourself roll around. I'm letting my right toes explore in the space like a fishtail. Really good. Then both legs are going to come up towards the sky and switch sides one more time. Left leg extends. And see if you can try something new, something different. Stretch the arms overhead. Big, nice, long energy through the body, from fingertips to toes, sealing in the body matrix, getting in tune with the toroidal force field. There's a bubble of energy around the body, and let the energy fountain out around you. Seal it in with a golden trim, just so everything from your day can be completely released. Just you in your field. Extending both legs in front of you, arms overhead, rocking from side to side. So we're going nice and slow. Play the game of how slow can you go? Smooth jazz. Sometimes we get into the habit of moving really, really fast, and we're encouraging to slow down in our restorative workshop today. We'll be incorporating lots of quantum play, tapping into the energy lines, getting in tune and in touch with the spiral dynamics, incorporating everything we learned from the weekend into our workshop. One more time, we're going to use the sides of the swing to lift up, right? So use your core to lift up and lean back, cloud pose. Both legs overhead, and then bend the knees. Let the knees move towards the armpits, nice and wide, holding onto the feet, happy baby. And just take some time to roll the ankles around here, alternating the legs. One straightens, and then switch. The other one rolls around. Notice if the left or right side is holding more tension. Maybe they're perfectly even. Most of the time they're not. And just be present with that. Back to happy baby. In the center, really pull down, arch and open the chest, and roll the shoulders around from here. Very good. And now we're going to straighten the legs out, reach around, grab for the leg loops, put them on. So we're going to use the leg loops and extend them from this position. This is a nice way to transition. So we're going to, if you're really looking forward to just relaxing and leaning back, this is enough. You can just get the leg loops on, hooking the heel, stretching it over the foot, and extending it to the back of the knee. Just windshield wiper in the space, extending the arms, letting yourself play, having lots of free time to flow. What would it look like to experience the body in a new way right now? It's such a simple pose. It's not about the exercise, it's more about the experience. So take some time to bend one knee and the other knee. Stretch the hips, feel the hip flexors, feel all the connective tissue. We're going to do a lot of work with the fascia, opening up that sheath that's over the body. This is like a surface charge that holds all of the memories and emotions. So we're releasing that. Just trust that it's such an important practice to use the swing to dig into these parts of the body and start to open up the connective tissue. This will release the muscles and give more space. Let's reach up for the top edge of the swing and pull ourselves up to a comfortable seat. And we're still in the swing. I'm just going to wrap my arms around the outside. I'm hugging the swing and I'm reaching forward for the front edge of the swing now. So some people find this easy and some people find it more difficult. But we're going to do some bicep curls and lift into a wide straddle. Taking our time. We're not working on strength right now. We're more working on enjoying and being in the body. So lead with your chest as much as possible. I know the head wants to lead the way, but drop the awareness into the sternum and let the hips and the head come into a symphonic dance. They're communicating with one another and working together now like a seesaw. So then we're going to lift up high enough that we let the swing slide behind the back. Just like that. So easy. Back to chillaxing arms. Make sure the neck is happy in all the poses. We're not straining any part of the body. We're doing our windshield wipers now from floating Buddha. Nice easy transition. And we're going to hang out here for a little while. We'll do some variations. We're going to start with some leg stretches, work with the lower body, and then for the second half, we'll emphasize the upper body. But they're all working together. Can't really do one without the other. But just notice the difference in our intention and attention on the practice. So we can try bending one knee, coming into a version of pigeon, bending the other knee. This is a review of everything we've done this weekend, so the poses might be familiar, but right now we're extending the leg loops and that changes everything. More supportive for the lower body to absorb our weight. Floating Buddha can be more of an intermediate practice where we really have to engage. So I'm even letting the swing slide out a little bit more. Just keep the hips heavy and heart open. Let's come into one back bend. Squeeze the toes together. Lean back, lift the hips. Ladle. Can you send a wave of love over the body? Be easy about it. Roll the shoulders around and squeeze the bottom tips of the shoulder blades together. And then inhale, come on back up. Very good. All right, so from here, I'd love to transition into hammock pose. So I'm going to use just one leg loop. Let's bring both feet into the right leg loop. We're crossing the ankles. From here, we have this extra leg loop. We might as well use it, and we're going to support our head with it. I put it behind the back of the neck and spread it out, making sure that the cervical spine is happy. And then you can even spread out the swing. I can slide the swing back over my bum for even more support. Sometimes bunching it up will get tender for the rib cage, so spread everything out. If your neck needs a little bit more support, reach up and grab for the leg loop so that not all of the weight is in the back of the neck. So I'm making sure that the leg loop for the upper body is covering the full length of the ears and stretched over the skull. Chin is slightly tucked into the chest. If that feels comfortable, go ahead and let your arms just dangle to the sides and create a rhythm wave in the body. We're amping up the breath to feel just these tiny little micro movements, first from side to side, and then up and down. So breathe from the tailbone to the crown of the head, through the heart. If you're familiar with the infinity loops, try adding an infinity wave through the body. Otherwise, just undulate in the swing. Tiny little micro movements is going to open up all the tightness, especially in the hips right now. 5 more deep breaths, slowing it down and enjoying the experience. Supporting the head with your hands extended towards the sky, holding onto the leg loops if you need. Very good. And then from here, let's thread our arms through the center of the top leg loop and gather the leg loop behind the back. So we're doubled up. We have the swing there, we have the leg loop there. We can keep holding on and arch and open by pushing the hips up. The more you push into your feet, the more it allows you to lift your hips. And as long as you don't get woozy or dizzy, add a little swag from side to side here. Just work it out, especially for the hips. Let the head come along, and then dive in a little deeper if you're ready for a back bend. Only if you're ready. You can do any variation that feels right for today. But if your body is open enough to stretch the arms overhead, lifting from the chest, letting the crown of the head dangle towards the floor, it's a great way to come into a version of ladle. I'm going to reach up and grab for the swing and do a few curls. Inhale, expand. Exhale, crunch and lift, nice and slow. We're more working with the breath than with the core strengthening. We're doing core activations. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Inhale, bicep curl, lift. Use your torso to lift instead of your head. Let your head come along for the ride. Really feeling the strength of the spine connecting from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Inhale, lift. Let's come all the way up and drop the hips. We're ready to release the leg loop. Coming back through center. And we have 2 sides, so we're going to repeat that on the other side, see if it feels any differently. The right leg loop comes off. I cross my ankles into the left. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust a little bit so this extra leg loop can go behind the back of my neck. Second hammock. We'll just repeat the same sequence and keep it even. I'm going to reach up, grab for the top of the leg loop, push my hips up, and just gently rock from side to side. Chin slightly tucks into the chest here to keep the neck safe. If your neck is feeling really good, you can nod, but make sure the leg loop is spread out. We don't want to bunch it up behind the cervical spine. That's an important cue. Really good. Play with some twists and some spins here from side to side. See how that feels on the hip flexors. Opening up the lower back a little bit more. And then if it's comfortable to support your weight, we're going to go ahead and drop the arms to the sides. Practice lifting the hips and dropping the hips to just see what that feels like. Focusing on the breath moving through the body. Marry the breath and the movement. So we inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Working out all the tension that lives in between the spaces of the vertebrae. Undulating the spine, getting the Kundalini energy to move up and down. Nice and easy. Enjoy the soft, sweet, delicious practice and dive deep into the restorative. Nothing to do. We're not looking for deep stretching or strengthening. We're just enjoying being today. Beautiful. Now we're going to thread our arms through the center of the leg loop. Gather it behind the back. Okay. If it feels good, dive right into a back bend. Play with the arms in the space. Let them swim around. If you need more support, you can reach up and grab for the leg loop. Or chillax on arms is always an option. But wherever you are, make sure your neck is relaxed. No strain. Right? We don't want to create any tension here. I like arms open wide and then swimming them overhead and letting the shoulders lubricate, just feeling the full range in the body. Get in tune and in touch with how we do move in multidimensional space in the swing, and it's so different than the linear movements we're used to with exercise. So explore overhead and behind you. You can even clasp your hands. I do a lot of stretching of the shoulders in these poses, rolling the shoulders around, making sure both shoulders are happy. If one shoulder feels a little off or different than the other, be gentle with it and back up. You don't have to clasp to get a big stretch, and make sure the lower back is happy. Let's all reach up for the swing and do some bicep curls. Inhale, lift. Look towards your navel. Exhale, extend the arms and arch from the back of the heart. Inhaling, lift. Really slow. Doing core activations instead of strengthening. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower back down. Drink in the breath. Inhale. Exhale, let it go. Let it pour out the crown of the head. Any thoughts, any tension, anything that's distracting you from being here, put it all down. Down the lists, the to-do lists. Projecting too far forward, just be here with your body in the swing today. Just for this short little while. Next, the inhalation, we're going to come to sit. Let the leg loop slide all the way up over the head again. And let's just go through a floating Buddha one more time. We're ready to do some more leg stretches, but give it a little hop and gather it all the way behind the back. This is our reset. This is how we calibrate and integrate what we just got from those poses. We're letting everything soften and expand now, particularly in the hubs. Let your hips drop, heart open, head relax back. Gently rocking from side to side like this has incredible benefits for opening up the connective tissue. We don't have to effort it or force the body to open. It'll just open with repetition and time and ease. Just let it feel good. This is our day of restoration. Then we're going to come down with just one leg. Let's start with the right leg loop on. Let's come through our half Buddha sequence. So in our half Buddha sequence, I like to hold on to the swing for support. You can always give it a little hop if your back is talking to you. My left foot's in half Buddha. My right foot is exploring in the space. I call it wagging the tail. Maybe even try bending the knee and coming all the way around to the side, spinning it out, feeling the angular momentum that happens with the swing. That's very unique to the practice, tapping into that free energy that comes with angular momentum, right? You swing to one side and like a boomerang, you go right back to the other side. Effortless, right? Beautiful. From here, I do like to bunch up the leg loop at the ankle for some more stretches. Let's bend the knee and grab for the ankle and foot and rock. So it's like rocking the baby, which we do on the floor in yoga. But notice how different it is when our hips are suspended. Remember to push the tailbone down as you lift the crown of the head up. I'm just going to keep repeating these cues until they become second nature. It's so important to just hear it over and over again because the head tends to drop and the hips tend to push forward. So get out of that habit and see what it would be like to extend the spine, even here. Very good. I'm going to extend that leg back out, holding on to the swing, and we're going to practice the spirals, internal and external spiral of the toes. I'm spiraling in the hip joint to get the femur to move better, and this will help alleviate any tension, but also prevent injury. Okay, so bring the foot to the front of the mat, 12 o'clock, and externally rotate. Bring it out to the 9 and 3 axes and internally rotate. As much as you can, let it come from the hip joint and not just the waist, kinking at the waist. The waist will tilt a little bit, but really feel it. Feel it in the hip joint. It's pretty amazing. Straight leg, toes flex back, big stretch through the energy lines of the legs on the right side. Very good. After a few rounds of that, I'm going to come back to pigeon. I'm going to turn it in, holding onto the leg loop. I'm going to turn it out, right? So the knee is pointing down. Holding onto both leg loops for support. We're coming back through our quad stretches. Side lunge. So my gaze is over the left side, looking slightly up. Changing the gaze from looking down, that's the habit we're normally in. See what it's like to slightly look up, change the position of the head. Feel a kite pulling up through the crown as your hips sink straight down. Feel the grounding cord anchoring you into the earth, even here. If this is too much on the shoulders, do tiny little bicep curls. Not so much to gain strength, but more so you can relieve the tension in the back. When we inhale, we're pulling the navel up towards the sky, in and up, and then when we exhale, we're expanding and spreading out. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, expand. Inhale, big quad stretch. Exhale, relax into it. Really good. Okay, we're going to come all the way back around. Straighten the leg. See if you can find the center of the mat with your left knee. Bend the knee and find the center of the mat. So I love this stretch. I haven't done this stretch in a long time and I was just rediscovering it, especially adding the spiral dynamics. So what happens when we explore the full 360 degrees of the mat? If you don't have these round mats, just imagine wherever you are, going all the way around. Getting the hip socket to move in all directions. This is so healthy on the body without any strain. We're not really efforting. If there's any tension, slow it down and just do little semicircles. See if you can get the full range of motion, particularly pushing the hips out to the left. That's such a great stretch for the side body, the TFL. The head can just relax into the swing for the restorative version. You can really just let go. No tension anywhere, just being easy about it, supporting the weight with the knee. Really good. And let's go ahead and switch sides. So use your core, lift up, get the leg loop on the ankle, one breath in floating Buddha, and then we're going to come down through sumo. Okay, let's just repeat that on the second side. Either give yourself a nice back bend or give it a hop to release the pressure on the upper back where the swing hits. And wag the tail. Maybe in this pose you let the knee explore in the space. If I'm up on the toes, it's safe on the knee. So the right knee is bending in and out, creating that internal and external rotation as I wag. Have some fun with it. You're going to have lots of free flow, playtime, get creative, let it feel good. And then let's just work on, well, first of all, let's bend the knee. This is the external rotation. I hold on to the foot, I pull the knee up and push the knee down. This is amazing for opening up the tightness in the hip joint. Just feel as you push the knee down, that deepens the stretch. Keep the tailbone pushing down, crown of the head rising up, lifting from the chest. Remember all those cues, just start to bring it all together with the breath. And now I'm going to extend the leg and work on the internal and external rotation. My hands are holding on to the swing. So just notice how that feels. Just play for a minute, free time. Right? This is our contact dance with the swing. Just feel it. What does that feel like to internal and externally rotate the toes? So when my heel comes in and my toes come out, that's an external rotation. When my heels go out, my heel goes out, my toes come in, that's an internal rotation. Usually this is the tighter edge that I play with, but just notice the two sides, taking it to the ends of your extension, not pushing past what is comfortable, especially for the knee. Flexing the toes back helps protect the knee a lot. Just feel the energy lines in the back of the leg as you do this, okay? Beautiful. External rotation at 12 o'clock, internal rotation out at the 3 and 9 mark. Okay, we're gonna bend again, coming into our pigeon and then turning it over for a quad stretch. Heel toes in the 9-3 axes and stretch it out. My gaze is over my right toes, slightly looking up, squaring my hips to the side and rocking back and forth. Remember, if you hold on to the leg loops, these are your anchors. This is really, really helpful to stabilize the knee. And you can practice lifting and lowering. If you lift up, it'll take a little pressure off the back, which is nice. And then lower back in and spread out. I'm bending my knee a lot, so I'm hooking my heel as close to my bum as possible for the stretch. And then if you're ready, incorporate the core. Inhale, lift the navel up, in and up. Exhale, expand. Inhale, lifting up. And then exhale, expand it out. Pumping the energy through the center line of the body, all the way to the crown of the head. Stretch it out again. Inhaling, lift. Let that feel good. Even though it's intense, the quads are some of the tightest parts of the body that I've seen that contributes to the lower back pain. Stretch it out as much as possible. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. If you're kind of done and just waiting for us, you can come on up to stand and be like, I'm good. Take frequent breaks, that's okay. It's the beauty of practicing at home. So now we're gonna turn the knee back over, nice and easy. You might even be able to slide through chillaxin, let it slide up to the knee and then back down to the ankle. We're gonna finish up with dropping the right knee in the center of the mat and doing the around the world movement. Start with just the semicircles where you're pushing the hip out to the right. Keep the toes connected, right? So that left leg is engaged. My arms are holding on to support my weight. And I'm also, most of my weight is in my knee now that I brought the swing down a little bit lower. And then see what it's like to go all the way around, change direction. Notice if there's any sticky spots, hang out there. If there is, just give it some time to open. Stretching the piriformis. How lovely. It's such a tight little muscle that lives along the iliac crest, right below the hip bone. 5 more deep breaths, just like this. Slowing it down. Enjoy the process of just being in a body, honoring the body, celebrating the body, being thankful for having a body, no matter where it's at. Just send a wave of gratitude. The body responds to positivity. We get deflated with negativity and we get uplifted with encouragement. So encouraging you to stick with it. You got this. Okay, let's lift the knee nice and slow. We're going to come down through our sumo squat. Take the leg loops off. Adjust the back. So from sumo, come right into chillaxed arms. Just rock the pelvis forward and back. Knees nice and wide, feet at 10 and 2. Feel what happened in the hips. And then start to play, add a little swag, maybe come through Weeping Willow and spin at the edges. Ooh, lots more spins and spirals in play in the practice than I've ever taught before. And this is how I experience the swing. This is what I get in and do. But I have hyper focus and intentionality on opening up the field and tapping into the energy body, particularly releasing the surface charge and wringing out the connective tissue, the fascia that lives on the surface of the skin. It really binds the muscles and suffocates the body from receiving more blood and oxygen. So it's so good to tap into that. We're going to do more fascia work today. All right, let's switch it up and do some forward folds. Okay, we're only going to come into a headstand today. We're not going to do any inversions in the restorative, but we can come into a nice long headstand. So from here, I'm going to get the leg loops back on. And I like doing my forward folds with the leg loops on because I'm going to show you some variations that we can do. Okay, so reaching for the knees, slide up the leg loops, bicep curl, squeeze the legs together and come up. Yeah, there you go, all the way up. So we can do forward folds without the swing altogether. So I'm going to show you that version first, and then you can choose which one feels good for today. Just with the leg loops on, get your clothes settled. I'm going to lean forward, right? When I lean forward, I can come on down. So it's like doing a down dog, but we have this extra support, like you have your favorite buddy pulling up and back. So you don't have to use the swing at all. We're just going to have a few moments of playing with that in our forward folds. Just let the upper body breathe. Just notice how good it feels on the back of the heart to release the swing. Once we wring out the body, we also take some time to let it fluff up again. Okay, walk your feet to the back of the mat, hands to the front of the mat, and just do some loop-de-loops, figure eights, play around with it. If you get in tune and in touch with the rhythm wave and the infinity loops in the body, fantastic. If that's still coming along and that is a big question mark of what I'm talking about, just get into the microcosmic orbit or the feeling of breathing from your tailbone to the crown of the head. Just connect the entire spine through the central pathway, centering yourself in the heart. And in time, the infinity loops, the loop-de-loops will make more sense. Right now, just smooth out any of the rough edges, any of the stuck or sticky parts. Breathe into them, shake it out, shake, shake, shake. And then we're going to come up nice and slow through angel wings. Walk your feet forward, walk your hands forward, and when you get to the front of the mat, press, press, press to come on up. Very good. I'm going to bring the swing from behind me over my head so it's at my hips. Now we're going to do a longer, more extended version of the forward folds. It's kind of challenging to find some restorative forward folds because most people find the swing on the hip flexors really, really intense. It has to do with how much stagnation is in the lymph system there. And of course, if you've had any injuries or surgeries on the lower abdomen, we're working through all that scar tissue, so it can feel like a ripping, burning, tearing sensation, which isn't that relaxing. So I hope that this feels better. Just stick to having the leg loops there and skip the swing, but try it and see what you think. So feet in the center of the mat. So I'm always heart diving, right? So head in line with the body. Come on down, fingertips to the front of the mat. You're almost going to be floating. I'm just on my tippy toes, right? Because I have so much suspension. And from here, I'm just rocking forward and back. Letting it feel good to let the swings support most of my weight. Remembering we're doing a restorative practice today. We'll get into more active dynamic movements later. Just enjoy the sweetness. And I'm letting my feet float and I'm coming into a folded leaf. So I'm going to bend my elbows, legs are straight, and I'm letting the crown of the head drop towards the floor. Legs are straight and heavy, no effort. Gently rocking from side to side. And even if you go up and down a little bit, you'll feel the swing massaging out like a deep rolfing session, massaging out that tightness in the hip flexors. Just letting you know, I've done this practice about 14,000 times. That tenderness in the hip flexors doesn't actually go away ever, but it just feels better with time because that stuckness and surface charge and congestion starts to go away. So I promise you at some point it'll actually feel good, but it'll always be tender. It's a tender spot. So we're just going to be easy about it as we gently rock from side to side, opening up the spirals and the spins. Whew. Really good. Slow it down. Take your time. Increase the breath. Lengthen the inhalation. Take a bit longer to exhale completely. Very good. If you're feeling like resting and you want to go right into your headstand, you're going to bend your elbows, rest on your forearms, interlace the fingers, bend your knees, pull your knees together, ankles together, and then just make sure that there's weight in your thighs. So you're not allowing your knees to float towards the sky, you're pulling your knees down towards your chest to keep the anchor. We want to stay hooked at the hips. And then your head might touch down, it might not. It's okay either way. But lengthen through the torso. We're going to come back and revisit our headstand at the end of the sequence, but stay here if you feel ready to drop in for a longer experience. Lots of different variations. But for those that want to come through the sun salutations, I'm going to walk my feet closer to the front of the mat, about a quarter of the way to the front. I'm going to inhale, press, press, press. You have to have really strong legs, really ground it down to lift up. And then I'm going to exhale, float down, dive in. Inhale, press, 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 and lift. Slow and controlled thumbs up. Easy breezy. Exhale, dive in. Inhale, press, press, press. Exhale, dive it back down. This time I'm going to let my hands come down, let my feet lift. My hands are going to be at the center of the mat, and I'm going to press back into an upside down dog. Somehow we're doing a restorative upside down dog. So arms are straight, and I'm gently rocking from side to side. I'm letting that feel really good as I explore in this space. You can always bend the elbows and come down even more if you don't want to do any engagement, but just let this feel good. Giving your hips some freedom to move in this space as far as they can. Yay. So this is our wide straddle upside down dog. And then we're going to marry those two movements. We're going to inhale, pull forward, land your feet where your fingers are. Inhale, come through, tippy toes, lift up. Exhale, bring your fingers down, lift your feet, slide on back, upside down dog. Sway it out. Maybe bend one knee and then the other knee. Play with extending at the edges. Let it feel good to explore in the space. Easy breezy, letting the swing do most of the work. Gravity is stretching you. We're just playing with the angular momentum. All right, come on back to the wide straddle. Look forward. Pull yourself to your toes. All right, let your toes ground. Make sure you're really grounded, and then press into your feet to lift up. Up, 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 up. All the way up. Here you go. Angel wings. One more time. Dive in. Easy, slow, like moving through water, graceful. Press back. Pressing back into a wide straddle. And just letting the legs explore in the space. If anybody wants to do a more restorative version, you can come down onto your elbows. Knees stay wide, feet together. And you can let your body rock from side to side like this. Just wiggling it out, creating more space and more length. We are doing an inversion, but it is very gentle in the body. Not too much. Beautiful. Extend the legs one more time. We're going to come on up, and with the arms expanded out to the sides, we're going to come through our airplane and bank from side to side. You can even let the swing come up a little bit higher for this one. This will give you some space to explore at the edges and get some nice belly massage at the same time. So just let that feel good. Extend, feel the energy lines from the fingertips to the toes, extending in all directions, letting yourself play some restorative play. Maybe you come all the way down and come into a half moon. And even here, let the arm swim in the space and the leg drop it down and then come back up again. Reach back behind you if that's available, and do a gentle neck stretch by dropping ear to the shoulder. Find your pivot point in balance with your standing leg. If you feel off balance, just wiggle it around until it feels stable. Roll the neck around, stretch it out, just let gravity do the work. Hands come down, second side, spin out to the side. Woo, holding on, half moon. Maybe here the leg explores in the space, right? Dropping ear to shoulder, swim it out. Enjoy the play. A little freeform movement. Experiencing the body in a new way. And then drop ear to shoulder, holding on to the swing with the top arm. We'll get a deep stretch through the energy line, the nerve line. Roll the head around a little bit. If the hip is cramping, you can always just bring that down. If you can hold it up there, keep the long lines of energy. Bring it down if you need. Focus on the neck stretch. Okay, walk it back to center. Really good job. That's all for our forward folds, but let's go ahead and all land it in our headstand for a more extended version. We're going to stay here for a couple minutes, so get comfy. Walk the feet to the back of the mat. Bend the elbows, let yourself float, let the swing slide to the bottom of the hip bones again, if it was up on the belly. Straight legs, just pulsing up and down with the toes, very gently at first. Find the breath, the rhythm wave through the spine, feel the sacrum spreading. And then for this version, I'm gonna hook my toes on the outside of the swing. Okay, I pulled my knees together to spread the sacrum. Now my arms are more grounded, interlace the fingers, and maybe the crown of the head finds the floor. It's okay if you're floating. Floating is good. That's kind of the magic of the swing. But from here, let everything lengthen and drop. Stay in the headstand for as long as you can. Feet are relaxed, even though the toes are wrapped around. Relax the feet. Keep the knees heavy so your hook at the hips is strong and the upper body can completely let go. I'm activating the top of my head, pouring out, draining all the excess energy, thought forms, brain activity, and stimulating the pineal. Take your time staying connected with your breath. We reverse the hollow sphere, so even here, can the head sphere, heart, and belly, hips be stacked, even, communicating and harmonized with one another. Gentle rocking of the hips from side to side feels really good. Loosening up the pelvis, releasing the SI joints, creating space for where the spine inserts into the hips. The lumbar takes a lot of pressure, so this is sweet relief. Very little weight in the neck, so the arms are supporting the head, the neck is relaxed, crown is grounding down. Nice big cleansing breath, and let's all extend our legs towards the mat. Down, 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 heavy legs, float here. This is our floating leaf. Again, just pulse with the toes moving up and down gently. Coming out nice and slow, walking your hands to the front of the mat, back to our down dog, happy dog. Wag your tail, even if it's just your toes touching down, give yourself a chance to wag. So we're still integrating the power and the benefits of the headstand, so we're going to come up nice and slow. We're going to take our time. And once we're here, we're just going to explore the arms. So walking gently into a forward fold and start to undulate the spine. Push the sit bones back, right? So go way back, pressing back, and then inhale, just pull forward. Exhale, sink back. So we're rolling the spine. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, pull forward. Exhale, sink back and down. Inhaling, lifting up. This time we come up onto our tippy toes again. And since we're here, let's go ahead and just play like we have the leg loops in our hands like we did before, just swaying from side to side. Keep your feet grounded, open it up as much as it feels good. Get acquainted with this vertical alignment now that we're upright again. Come up nice and slow. Ah, very good. Catch your breath, find your grounding, make sure if you got dizzy or woozy you don't transition too quickly. And then we're going to go back to the swing behind us. Okay, so underneath the arms, and we're going to use the leg loops to traction from the hips all the way down to the knees, getting some fascia work in. Once again, we did this in our training, but I want to revisit opening up the leg lines, using the leg loops as massagers. So this is kind of like the melting that everybody's been into. We can get three-dimensional melting going on here because the leg loop actually wraps around and goes with the energy lines and spirals down. So we're not just hitting one line, but we're actually getting into the spherical nature of the body. And you'll probably find one area is more intense than the others. Try the inner lines, working those. And then the outer lines coming down through the IT bands, pressing in. You can do one leg at a time or both legs. We're going to be here for 5 minutes. So really enjoy it, dig in. You can try getting into the quads, but have a little free flow, open playtime, opening up the energy lines of the legs, nice and easy and slow. Find the restorative version of it. It is going to be intense, so slow it down. Really good. Working on the lower body first, and then the second half will be upper body, so just enjoy opening up the legs, and then I promise we'll switch. We have to get into the limbs of the body and connect them to the torso. We tend to look at our body as parts, right? We're plugging in the joints, plugging in the hips, plugging in the shoulders, making sure the circuitry is turned on, so we have lots of energy flowing to the ends, and the limbs can be nice and strong just using the energy body. Muscles are one thing, but working with the bones and tapping into the connective tissue so energy can flow is a whole nother level. I've been wanting to share this with everybody for a long time. I've been conjuring up the sacred geometrics in my own body and figuring out how to teach this in the swing. You know, the swing is such a beautiful vehicle for this transformation that can happen because it's so much more than just physical. It's how we move in the world, it's how good we feel, it's our mind, body, spirit connection, and we're allowing more space, we're creating more space for energy to flow. And that's the key to healing, is creating space and expansion. Especially when tension and stress is all contraction, right? Compression on the spine is what's causing pain, so creating as much room for the energy to move as possible. Just a few more minutes here, playing one leg, then the other leg, getting into the inner, the outer, the top, and the back. All the sides, bringing it all together, spiraling it out. Very good. Okay. One more minute, try something new, try something different. Had a back bend. Really digging into the hamstrings, get into the center of the muscle. There is a part of the hamstring that's really hard to access right in the very middle Roll over it a couple times, just dropping and lifting the hips, undulating. Remember where your gaze goes, energy flows, so keep it uplifted, right? So the swing is creating a sense of upliftment in the body. Enjoy that. Very good. Just 30 more seconds. What do you got? Try something new. Really play with it. Find the breath. Breathing into some of these tight parts, all the way up to the groin, all the way up. Getting into the sit bones, rolling it around. Yep. Keep it even. If you did it on one side, make sure you do it on the other. Very good. Awesome. From there, we're going to come on out. Let's just wash it out with some swagger from side to side. Integrating, hips heavy, heart open, head relaxed. Enjoying the multidimensional nature. Changing planes like this is so good for the brain, but it's also great for the connective tissue. Simply rocking from side to side will open everything up. Easy. Using the free energy of angular momentum. Very good. Alrighty. Once we come back to center, let's go ahead and do one vinyasa flow. Inhale, open the arms. Exhale, child's. Inhale, blossom for star. Exhale, namaste. Lean back. Get the tractioning up and down the back now, right? Ugh. Coming into ladle, and then immediately slide up the spine, pushing your back into the swing to get the massage. Doing a little self-yoga massage today for our Love Fest. Massage it out, up and down the back. Done this all weekend, but it never gets old, but it feels good. Yes, push, push, push into the swing to get the tractioning all the way up and down the spine. All the way up. Let your shoulders right up to your ears. I very rarely say that, but you want to get all the way up into the subscap. Yeah, into the wings, and then slide it down the back again. Press the hips up to lean back. Really get into the waist here. See if you can do a little sway from side to side to dig into the love handles once you are in your ladle. As long as you don't get too dizzy or woozy, see if you can get some excess play happening in a very restorative way. Easy breezy, holding the pose for longer, digging in, letting it feel good. Try bringing one hand down and resting there in the side body. And then switch sides, keep it even, go the other direction. Oh, so good. Nothing really digs into the body like this. It's so amazing. And back up through center. Whew. Take a breath. Find the crown of the head, sit bones, heart. Operating from the heart space, let's just do one chest opener. I'm kind of obsessed with the skydiver into butterfly. It's just my absolute favorite. Feel the long lines of energy coming through the chest. Just feel that. And even here, I like banking from side to side to get into some of those spirals in the legs. It's a little bit more intense in this position. So do it nice and slow. We're not going to bend the elbows today. We're going to stay here. So if it's too much on your armpits, just give it a little adjustment. That's why I wear a little shirt. I'll put on some clothes so it's not directly hitting the skin after doing this for hours. It helps a lot. So always wear something over the knees and over the arms to help with the swing digging in so it is smooth over the fascia. It slides more easily. Come on back, pulse it forward, undulating with the breath. Exhale, drop the hips. Inhale, lift and press forward to the crown of the head. Exhale, drop. Undulating the spine, and all the poses is how we open up the space in between the vertebrae. So easy. Dropping back. Notice I'm leading with the heart, right? Not the head. Heart first into the world. Exhale, drop it back. Really good. Okay, we're gonna come on out and give the upper body a break. Okay, one leg loop comes down, Foot comes down at a time, take those off. Sumo, holding on to the swing, walk it back. We're gonna do some standing poses and then we're gonna come down to the floor and then we're gonna end with a nice, sweet, long meditation focusing on the breath for today. Okay, so for our standing poses, we're gonna get ourselves behind the swing. Let me just reset the camera here. Okay, great. So we're going behind the swing. We have it nice and low for today. So I'm gonna hold on to my hand holds or my leg loops. Okay, leg loops are easier, so why don't we go ahead and go for that since we are gonna try the restorative version. I walk to the back of the mat and I just give the swing a little push with my hands. So I'm gonna time it so I can get my right foot up there. Beautiful. The more you bring your swing down, the easier it is to get the foot in there. Let it bunch up at the ankle, and I'm just gently rocking forward and back. That's it, forward and back. So even though I'm doing the leg stretches, let's focus on the upper body, right? And swim the arms around, bicep curl, bring it forward, exhale, bring it out and around, lean back and down. Inhale, lift, swim it out, trace the shape of your body field. Take up as much space as possible, open it up, and then exhale, bring it back and down. And even here, we can lean back, bend the standing leg, and get a nice stretch for the back body, as well as dropping the hips. Really good. Inhale, pull it forward, arch, 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 and lift. Lead with the heart. Flex the toes back to keep the knee and the leg long. Very good. Only go about 50%. Don't go all the way where you're straining the joints or the connective tissue. Really feel deeply into the stretch and roll it around, leaning back. Inhale, pull forward, arch and open, leading with the chest. Let the arms explore in the space, coming on back and down. Lengthen, drop the hips. One more time. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, bend the knee out to the side. So we're repeating the sequence we did earlier today in the training. So this is a good review for those that have been in the virtual training. But those that are just taking the workshop, let this be your first pigeon pose for the day, right? Just let the hips explore in this space, nice and slow and gentle, rocking back and forth. Flex the toes back to keep the knees safe. And if it feels good, use one hand to press the knee down and deepen the stretch. The pigeon pose, letting the hips open, is a really powerful, powerful sequence that we can do. Just here, standing poses, really gentle. We're gonna switch to straightening the leg again, holding onto the swing and rocking forward and back, pulling with the arms. Maybe you wanna go a little bit more from side to side. I call it steering when you pull on one side and the other side, getting a good stretch through the calf. Restorative standing poses, who would have thunk? Just slowing it down, taking it easy, still getting the benefits of the practice, but not focusing so much on the strength or the stretch, but just experiencing and playing. And incorporate this into any of the other practices. If you're doing something and it feels too intense, just back off about 50%, or do some of the variations where you're holding on differently, or just being relaxed about it. That's all it takes. Holding on to the hand holds in a wrist wrap or bending the standing leg and we're dropping in. Let ourselves float here just for a few breaths, stretching the whole body, full body hang with the leg extended. I'm bending my standing leg, left knee bends so that I can float, swaying from side to side. And then I'm going to pull my knee into center so we can step through. So land it on your shin. My foot is inside the swing, and my arms come through for Nataraj. So back to our quad stretch, stretching the arms at the same time, feeling the tailbone, communicating with the crown of the head, and leading with the heart. See what it's like to add some spins here. It's going to be our only full body hang for our workshop today, so enjoy it. If that's too much, come up into a bicep curl and come to stand and then lower back in. And then just try taking it easy on how much shoulder stretch you're doing. If it feels good to straighten the arms, go ahead and sway it out from side to side. Adding some twists here. Make sure the knees are happy, right? Keep the foot flexed. Stretch the waist. Get into the intercostals. Adding more playtime. So when we're gonna just stand up and point our toes towards the sky to come out. Give ourselves a little break. Shake it out. If we use the leg loops in our hands, come to the back of the mat. Instead of the hand holds, we can hold it for longer. But in Nataraj, it's better to have that support. I will show you the version where we switch to the leg loops if you want, but the hand holds are pretty nice. Hold on to the top of the leg loop, just one side. I call it the nub. Push the swing forward. Time it with the momentum to get the left leg up there. One way or another, get your foot in there at the ankle. Holding on to the top of the leg loops instead of the hand holds is a little bit easier, leaning back. Inhale, arch and come forward. We're stretching the legs, but the legs are only doing about 50%. We're really focusing on our arms right now, incorporating the upper body with the lower body. We can't really separate them, but we can just give it our focus, right? Swinging the arms around, coming back. Leaning into it, you can even bend the standing leg to get a deeper stretch. Arch and open, undulate the spine. Find your infinity loop and your rhythm wave, marrying the breath with the movement if you can. Inhale, lift and arch, pressing forward. Exhale, swim it around and come on down. Inhale, lift, pulling up and out through the crown of the head, leading with the chest. Exhale, leaning the hips back, drop it in. You can even round the back here. Inhale, lift, just one more. And exhale, press, swim it around. As I come through center, I'm gonna bend the standing leg for pigeon. And in my pigeon pose, I like to assist the knee to open. So I'm gonna still hold on to the swing or the leg loop, but I'm gonna rock from side to side. Try to open that up. If your hips are really tight, this will be an intense pose. If you're pretty open, see if you can go a little bit deeper into pointing the knee down towards the ground. That's how you open up the piriformis. That tight spot across the hip, if you don't know the muscles. But when we come into pigeon pose, it's always good to flex the foot to protect the knee. Make sure the knee is happy. Just have some fun rocking in the space. Resetting here. Straighten the leg out in front of you, holding on to the swing now, and try pushing and pulling. The legs tend to be very tight, especially the hamstrings, so lead with the heart. Only go a little bit as far as it feels good and massage out the calf. I call it steering, where we push and pull on the swing, adding a little bit more of a twist. Easy breezy. Doing a restorative version of the leg stretches from standing. They can be really intense, so soften into the stretch. Our mind and our intention really changes the emphasis of the pose, and the muscles respond to that. Alrighty, from here I'm going to go into holding on to the hand holds in a wrist wrap. Let's hop through for Nataraj, getting the quad stretch. First, just play, bending the standing leg, right knee bends, and I can hang and explore in the space, right? Sway it out from side to side, playing with the twists and the spins, lifting from the chest even here, making sure that my head is in a good position, gaze slightly up, my tailbone is dropping down. Opening up the energy lines in the back body, maybe even crossing it over. Play there. And then I'm gonna pick up my right knee so my shin lands on the inside of the swing. Come to stand at the center of the mat. Let the arms come through. I'm still holding on to my hand holds with the wrist wrap. If you wanna try, if your hands are tired, if you wanna try holding on to the leg loops, there are lots of different variations you can do here. You can come down with wide arms and come through Nataraj, or you can even hold on to the top here with bent elbows and come on down. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. You can press forward and back. You can even let them hang out on the shoulders. Just make sure you don't head dive here. This is the airplane wing version. Lots of different variations. Find your favorite one. I particularly like stretching my shoulders, and I'm going to go back to the wrist wrap. This helps me keep my chest lifted. I get a big stretch through the belly, and then I'm also feeling my hip flexor and quad a little bit more. But go ahead and transition to leg loops if that feels better for you today. And then of course, spin and twist, getting into the side body, getting into the spherical nature, getting out of the linear movements, and opening up the ball and socket, the joint that needs this full spectrum movement. The knee is a hinge, the hip is a ball and socket, and we usually limit the range of motion in the hips and then it affects the knees. I found that out at a very young age, and now I'm dedicated to opening up the hips and the shoulders in a better way. All right, when we feel ready, we're gonna bicep curl, come on up, come to stand, point the toes towards the sky. Very good, let's release that leg and come into some floor exercises. So for the floor sequence, we're gonna focus more on the upper body, but of course, we're gonna work the whole front line. I'm gonna come into some AYRx moves and show you how to do that. I'm gonna turn around and do it facing away at first, and then I will go to the back of the mat. So you're gonna start at the back of the mat facing the video, and I'm gonna come through a wrist wrap. So I like to just drop my hips and sway from side to side here. I'm landing on the ground for this version. I'm not so much concerned with strengthening and doing the normal exercises I do with the leg loops in my hands. I'm more just playing with swaying from side to side. Okay, I don't have as much room as the back of the mat, but I'm going to show you what it looks like from there. We're all going to do it together. So stay where you are, holding on to the leg loops in your hands, transitioning to the back of the mat, wrist wrap, come on down. So my movements will be a little smaller on the side since I have to be aware of the curtains and everything behind me, but if you have the space, make your movements a little bit wider, a little bit bigger, and sway from side to side. Even pause at the edges and see how that feels when you rest your head on your arms and start to open up the twists and the spins. Playing with utilizing the ground and still opening up the spiral dynamics is so amazing. So switch, drop the knees to the right, letting the weight be supported by the arms, head rested, and spin it open. So when I say spin it open, my right elbow is going from 9 o'clock back behind me to 12 o'clock. And that adds a completely different stretch to the body. Very good. One more time, spin the knees to the left, roll it down, relax the head, and spin. Look back behind you. Make sure that shoulders are happy. You can always bend the elbows and pull up a little bit more if you need. So it doesn't have to be so intense. The straight arms is going to get deep into the energy lines and open up the side body more, but bent elbows is okay if your shoulders are not quite there yet. If you have any sort of shoulder injury, you're going to only go about 50%. So 50% would look like this, right? Engaged, spinning nice and slow. Again, getting into the spherical nature and the ball and socket of the shoulders instead of just the linear movements. Opening it up. Excellent, really good. So from here, I'm going to slide to the front of the mat. Before we get into our child's pose, I'm going to release my hands and shake them out. One of the other ways that I tend to create relief from holding on is I'll interlace my fingers and I'll gather the leg loops together. And now we're just going to go into some slow bicycling. Make sure the neck and head is happy, engaging through the core, and just work it out. Pedaling slowly in front of you. Slower can be harder sometimes too, right? So just take it easy doing that. And then pedal to the side and see what that feels like. Slow motion pedaling. I love playing on the ground, just using the leg loops to support the weight. Little upliftment as I roll from side to side. Pedaling through center. One more time to the right. Last time. Really good. Lifting and lowering. Staying connected to the breath. Pedal through center one more time. And then over to the left. Have some fun with it. Freestyle, free flow. Enjoy it. And back to center. Very good. I'm going to stay holding on and plant my feet down and come into a tabletop. Inhale, lift. Crown of the head on the floor. Exhale, lower. Squeeze the knees into the chest. Inhale, tabletop, press the feet down, lift, crown of the head on the floor, arch, squeezing the bottom tips of the shoulder blades together. Exhale, roll it down and squeeze into a ball. Undulate with the breath. Inhale, arch and open. Breathe to the crown of the head. Exhale, squeeze, knees to nose, rounding in. Very good. Okay, let's come into child's pose. Last sequence, I promise. Come up and up to the knees. You're doing great. Just a few more minutes and then we'll have a nice long shavasana. So from camel, I'm going to hold on to the leg loops with my hands. Drop my hips back, dive in, roll the spine down. And I want you to practice breathing into the kidneys for today. So the kidneys are right behind the solar plexus, below the heart. And they control the adrenals, which is one of the energy managers of the body. A lot of people are experiencing adrenal fatigue from overdoing it, doing too much and not getting enough rest. So we're balancing that out by breathing into the back body while the arms are extended. At the same time, I'm gently rocking my hips from side to side, keeping this rhythm wave in the spine. Feeling the heart rest down. The forehead draping towards the floor, maybe it doesn't touch. And the tailbone, the sit bone sinking back towards my heels. Let's come to center and inhale, body wave up. Inhale, arch, arms overhead. Exhale, press the chest down, pulse. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, swim the arms back behind you, roll in. This is all you need to do to open up the spine. Inhale, lift, bring the arms wide. Exhale, drop the chest, arch. My ears stay above my biceps in all these poses. Inhale, lift, and then exhale, dive in. Slowing it down. 5 more, just like that. Curl in, navel towards the sky like a cat-cow. And then inhale, swim the arms wide, lubricating the shoulder joints, pressing into the hands, lifting up. And then exhale, drop the chest. If that's too much, just stay here, right? And pulse with the breath here. Wherever you are, just feel the breath filling the entire torso, activating and cleansing the pathway of the spine. Breathe all the way up into the brain, crown of the head, and then washing it down the back to the tailbone. And if you like the bigger deep dive, go into the rhythm wave of child's pose and then swim it up all the way overhead. And dive back in. Whatever feels good. You can even do one arm and then the other arm. Some bigger movements from side to side as long as the shoulders are happy. Only if the shoulders feel good. And then one time we're all going to come up together. We're going to go back into Supta Virasana, holding on with your wrist wraps, big quad stretch. Inhale, lift. Exhale, come on up, bicep curl. Inhale, lift the belly. Press the hips towards the sky. Exhale, curl up, head towards the sky. Inhale, lengthen, lift the hips. Exhale, bicep curl. Use the breath. Hands are supported by the leg loops to help lift. And then last one, sink back, Supta Virasana. Crown of the head points down. Tailbone shooting towards the knees. Heart lifted with the arms. Inhale, come on back up. Roll it around. We are ready 4, final relaxation. Really good job. Use your hand holds to press down and lift up. Get a little sip of water, whatever you need to drop in. I'm going to talk you through cocoon once again, although we know how to do it since we started out that way. We're going to end the same way we began. And then I have a nice breathing meditation for you guys today, just simply breathing. I'm going to bring the lights down a little bit. It's a little bit more relaxing with all the lights on. Ah, we made it. Really, really good job. Nice job, everybody. So the meditation that I recorded for you guys, I have on my phone. So at some point I'm going to put that on for you. So I'm going to keep that close by. But for now, let's just get back into the swing. Yay! Learning about the sacred geometrics of the body. Feel how expanded you are. Feel how tall and long the spine is. And just feel how released and relaxed the hips and shoulders are after all of that mobility, all of that movement. Just let it feel good. And we're going to spread it out and hop back in. Yay! If you need a little bathroom break or a little sip of water, do that before dropping in again. Get into a place where you can really let yourself go now. We're going to kick our legs up and immediately put our leg loops on, okay? So we're going to expand and extend the fabric. Get your legs in there. Hook your feet. Let yourself drop in. Very good. We're not going to do as many leg stretches since we took care of those at the beginning of our practice. We're just going to stretch our arms overhead. Find your favorite arm position. Wiggle it around. Let your hips drop. Really good. We made it. So whenever you need to take a rest, take a break, jump into your swing. Let yourself cocoon. It's such a delicious place to let your body feel loved, supported, suspended, floating, free, weightless. See if there's any parts that are needing a little bit of love. Do some final stretches, whatever is being called for, and then let everything go. Let it drop. Let go of the effort, let go of the doing, and allow yourself this sweet time to just be. The breath is going to breathe you. So as we go through these breathing exercises, be present with it, but just let it happen for you. The breath is our connection to life force energy. Feel like the air, the quantum field contains everything that you need. Breathe in the relaxation, the compassion, the forgiveness, the clarity, the deep rest. Just breathe it in through the air particles. Trust the breath is fueling you and feeding you, rejuvenating and revitalizing all the organs. We've been working with the lymph system, the endocrine system, the fascia, circulation. Dropping into deep relaxation will boost the immune system naturally, balance the hormones, and tune the brainwave function. This is the easiest way to have a deep reset in the body. Just let that feel good. Yeah, taking just a few more minutes now to prepare. Anything else you need, find a favorite position. Maybe your hands like to rest on your lap here. Cross your arms over your chest if you prefer that. Or keep your shoulders open and extend your arms over your head with bent elbows, fingertips dangling towards the floor. This tiny little rocking of the hips from side to side might happen naturally. And just remember that as infants, when we're children, we're often rocked and cradled and held to soothe our emotional body, to soothe our nervous system. And as adults, we don't get that opportunity, so enjoy it. Feel like you're back in the womb. Big hug and love from the Divine Mother is wrapped around you with a swing. This pressure on the surface of the skin is so soothing. I'm going to be here for about a half hour. Half of the time will be the guided meditation, and the other half will just be stillness and silence. Enjoy both. Let the words just wash over you. You don't have to pay attention to them as much as you're letting it seep into the cells. It's just going to happen for you. I'll offer the guided meditations separately if you feel like doing them at bedtime or first thing in the morning. They're incredible for tuning the body. I have lots and lots of guided meditations on my YouTube channel that are being offered for free as well. And feel the body expanding in all directions. A 3-part breath, expanding the belly, the front and back of the belly, expanding the rib cage, the sides of the rib cage, the front and back of the spine, and all the way up, drinking the breath to the collarbones, even the back of the heart, back of the shoulders, filling the body in all directions with breath, emphasizing the inhalation to fill yourself up, and exhaling, just breathing the breath out, letting go with every exhalation anything that you are getting rid of, that you're wanting to wring out. Breathe it out. Breathe it down the tailbone. Breathe it out the crown of the head. Just breathing out in all directions as well. Simplifying the meditation practice to be fully aware, hyper-aware of the breath. Pumping the energy around, giving the organs a chance to expand and absorb like a sponge. And then wringing them out and squeezing them out on the exhale, all the way to the very bottom of the breath. And now imagining every cell filling up like a little grape, expanding in all directions. The trillions and trillions of cells in the body expanding, plumping up with the inhale. And then simultaneously, they're all releasing and squeezing on the exhale. Every fingertip, every toe, every organ, every gland, even the brain, even the bones. Imagine filling your bones up with more breath, with more oxygen and blood. Your bones are expanding, fluffing up. And then you exhale and you can squeeze them and concentrate them down, bring them out. Creating more circulation in the body, through the blood, through the veins and arteries, through the lymph. All the functions of the body, the endocrine system, immune system, hormones, they're all being revitalized and rejuvenated by the breath. Simply focusing, concentrating and breathing into every end and layer of your being. Feel your heart expand.
your belly expand, your brain expand, your head expands with every inhalation. These three spheres harmonizing and syncing up. And they all contract. This is how the heart pumps blood around the body. The lungs expand in all directions. And then we can squeeze the breath out. That's how we exhale. But this pulsation of life force energy is in every part, every nook and cranny. Even our fingernails expand while we breathe and contract. Becoming soft and supple, as well as strong and firm, all at the same time, evenly, smoothly. Letting these two complementary qualities come back into balance with one another. Equanimity. The muscles expand and contract. That's how they absorb more blood and oxygen, take in nutrients, and release the waste. This perfect exchange. The body is brilliant in its intelligence, the way it works, when we keep ourselves in balance and harmony. Deliberately, intentionally releasing the buildup of tension, of stress, letting ourselves expand again and take in more goodness. Release the old, letting go, sloughing off, making room for the new. In this moment now, taking in even more breath, expanding in all directions. That's it. Exhaling, putting it all down, soften. Imagine yourself as a balloon and a ball that keeps expanding when we breathe in and inhale. Expand in all directions, even the back body, even getting longer and taller. And then we squeeze the balloon and bring it out on the exhale. Enjoy the feeling of being filled up to wholeness, as well as emptying and letting go. Enjoy both sensations. Notice how it's necessary to be in optimal radiant health, to have both aspects of self equalized, integrating, giving the body exactly what it needs. Do a little body scan on the inside to see if there are any parts or pieces that are still holding tension, especially in the belly, and invite it into more alignment, softness, wholeness. Bathe whatever parts or organs in a golden balm, a healing balm. If there is chronic tension there, if they seemingly don't know how to relax on their own yet, like soaking them and saturating them like a dry sponge on the edge of your sink to help them become supple again. They have been suffocating and depleted. We're going to bathe them and bath them in these warm energies that are connected to our breath. Imagine that the air is full of prana, of mana, of all the nourishment and nutrients your body needs. And you can breathe that energy directed into those organs, parts, pieces, muscles. Let it feel good as you use your imagination to direct your thoughts, to direct the energy. Let it be wonderful and new and exciting and curious for the mind to practice with new intentionality, something different. Feel what it's like to expand even more, soften even more. Give yourself some space. And enjoy the putting down, releasing, and letting go that happens, that balances. The way the body can open and close like a valve. Make more room and space for the lungs, the intercostals, the muscles, and connective tissue are going to have to get used to all of this new space and movement. If it feels sticky or stuck, just bathe it in this warm, glowing, golden bubble that surrounds the entire body. Extend your pillar of light, your grounding cord sinks down, and we flush and release any of that tension that's holding, anything that is expired. We let it go. Just imagine it swirling and sinking down, plugging into the center of the earth and being composted for you, automatically renewed and returned to you in its highest vibratory state, ready to fill you up with revitalized, refreshed life force energy. And expand the crown of the head and your antenna up into the heavens so you can call upon any qualities and aspects that you want to pour down from the heavens, plugging all the way up into your highest divine self, source energy. We're being fueled and fed from the heavens, pure source pouring down, filling, seeping into every cell. The qualities of your emotions, the mental states, the psycho-spiritual aspects, anything and everything that you desire, more joy, more peace, more contentment, whatever it is. Imagine it pouring down and swirling down and filling the central column, dancing around, lighting up every cell. An infinite well of wisdom, guidance, and life force pulses through you, is available to you at any and all times. Open up the receptor sites to fill yourself up, to receive it fully. Asking for a healing balm on any of those parts or pieces that need some extra love. Feel it pouring in. Let it feel good. To open to greater levels of grace and ease. Joy, love, wisdom, understanding, forgiveness, appreciating any and all aspects that are given. Take your time letting these energies swirl around, saturate and bathe in them. They will absorb and continue to rebalance, recalibrate, and integrate into all of the levels and layers that have been deprived brittle and dry, thirsty for these qualities, this nourishment. Give them time to fully absorb. Practice these breathing patterns, this visualization and imagination every single day. Every moment that you remember, you can be filling yourself up with breath, life force, source power, pure, re-energized vitality. Sending a wave of love and gratitude over your entire being for showing up, for being willing, for practicing, for playing. 5 more deep, full, whole breaths. Exhaling completely, putting it down. Inhaling sweetly, filling it up. Centering yourself in your chest, connecting to your heart, to your lungs, to your ribs, to your core essence. Very good.
Keeping this sweet, soft, gentle place within yourself. 10 more luxurious minutes of deep relaxation. Feeling yourself expanding into the quantum field around you, floating in the sea of consciousness that you are. We're going to start to pull our awareness back into the room, taking our time, awakening and exiting our cocoon. I invite you to stay here for as long as you like. If you feel like having an extended nap time, deep sleep, enjoy the body dropping into these incredible places of relaxation. If you're ready to wiggle around and move, I want you to softly bend your knees. Pull your knees in towards your chest and let the leg loops go. So you curl up into a little ball, wrapping your arms around your shins, completing the love fest for today. Radical self-care to take this much time to be with the body. Send a wave of gratitude over your being for showing up, for your willingness, your playfulness, exploration, creativity, imagination. These are all tremendous gifts. Harness all these energies in your core, curling up into a little cocoon here. Having a snooze where we don't have to go anywhere yet. Just like a seed ready to blossom and bloom. Gathering all of the life force into our center. And then as you feel ready in your own time and in your own way, unfurl. Stretch past the edges, break free of that shell. Explore the air, the space around you with your fingertips and toes, growing past the cocoon, sprouting your wings, feeling deeply rejuvenated in the meditation process, refreshed and ready for this new body, this new moment, this new breath. Your new being is blooming. Gently rocking the hips, fishtail one more time, keeping that undulation in the spine. Very good. We're going to do one more round of leg stretches just to wake up the limbs. Pull the left toes towards the sky and roll the ankles around. Massaging out the foot, the calf, the shins. And let's switch sides. Right leg comes up, left leg extends. Easy breezy, gentle, slow. Rolling the ankles around. Massaging out the lower leg. Playing in the space. Both legs back up. One more mini plow. Curling it in. Knees towards the chest. Reaching up. Massaging the feet. Giving your feet a little extra love. And then we blossom once again. Stretch, stretch, stretch everything. Stretch your capacity to receive so much goodness. Stretch the possibilities, your imagination, your creativity. Stretch everything. Stretch your mind. Stretch your emotions. And your next inhalation is going to allow your hands to rise up to the back edge of the swing and gently pull yourself up. We're going to stay here and pause. One more snooze. Hands on the lap, eyes closed. Preparing our landing gear. Bringing all of our energy back into the room now. Getting ready to ground in and anchor these new qualities and aspects that we've gained from our practice into our being. A sense of self-centeredness, of alignment, soft strength, graceful ease, openness with our breath. Whatever name you want to assign to this feeling. Upliftment, expansion. Just hold on to it, bring it with you, bring it into your day. And then gently open the eyes, extend the arms towards the sky, pull yourself up to stand and give the swing a nice big hug, hands to prayer at the heart. So happy that we made it. We made it through the weekend. Had a nice, gentle, restorative play. What a sweet ending. Again, I'm so grateful and honored to be sharing this practice with you, my program, the next level of teachings, incorporating the energetics, metaphysics of the body, understanding the importance of integrating mind, body, spirit into our practice, and tapping into the sacred geometrics. So this is our quantum play date. And I really do hope that you're inspired to do more. Feel free to upgrade to the full virtual training if you were and are interested, and seeing what else that we covered and what we did. The workshops were a nice recap and summary of the weekend. And I hope I get a chance to play with you either in person or again online sometime soon. Be in touch with me. I am available for private sessions and one-on-one trainings. So reach out at jenhealy.org or AerialYogaRx.com. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel amazing. I hope you do too. I'll see you next time. I look forward to that. Let's bow down, release the swing. Come on down. You'll get all these videos for review, so check back to the playlist. I'm happy to answer some questions and do some Q&A. I'll add some more videos as we go along. We have unlimited access, so keep practicing and enjoy it. And thanks again. Namaste.